What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 50th episode. That's right, the 50th episode of the Boundless Business Podcast. As always, it's Larissa, Justine, and the occasional guy who talks, Nico. What's up, team? How are we doing?
Good. Got our weekly Starbucks. We're happy. Happy campers over here.
Love it, love it. And, Justine and I were talking coffee before, so it's going to be a great call. It's going to be a great meeting whenever we're talking coffee. So, with that being said, Justine, what's going on? What's the topic today?
Topic today is why this time of year is a great time to try out database reactivation for both B2B and B2C companies. So let's start with just kind of an overview of what database reactivation is.
Yeah,
and when we're talking about this time of year, we're talking about the beginning of the year. It's for anybody listening to this in the future. It's currently January 2023. And the year just started. We're like first week of January.
Cool. And the biggest thing I want you to take away from today is like these lessons can be applied in any new season and can be used as a great marketing initiative because whether it's special days coming up like the 4th of July or New Year's or Thanksgiving, it doesn't really matter. Database reactivation can be used throughout the year. We're just going to contextualize it a little bit more towards the beginning of the year because there's just so much opportunity. So database reactivation goes by many different names, but basically says people that we've been in contact with, whether past clients, current clients, people that were in our pipeline, people that have been in carts, people are in our newsletter. It doesn't really matter, but there's someone that already knows something about you, but we want them to take another step, whether that's to go to a webinar, meet us at a coffee shop, jump on a call with us, buy a product. But basically, it's taking people that already know who you are and getting them to do something, right? So what we're going to be talking about today is specifically how you can do database reactivation in the new year, in a new season, doesn't really matter, to start beefing up your pipeline, right? That's really like where, as an agency, as a small business, like that's what the value is, because you're honestly sitting on hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just by talking to people who weren't ready to buy previously. So one of my favorite examples is right now, all of us, as long as we have a business older than like a day, probably has a person that stopped working with us for whatever reason, right? Let's say that you're a landscaper or contractor, right? Let's say that someone bought a new house and they needed grass installed, or you're an agency that helps someone build a website and then you did a great job, and for whatever reason they didn't want to keep paying your maintenance fees. These are people that we have already serviced. And as long as we did a good job, they probably have a positive feeling towards us. Now, if you're like me, and like most people out there, you're going to continue to grow. And what worked a year ago, 6 months ago, a week ago, might not always work right now, or to the extent that you want it. So we all know that it was really good to spend money on Facebook ads back in 2012 and 13 because it's cheaper than now it is 10 years later. And the same goes for most products and services, right? If you buy a new house in 20 years, you're going to have to get the roof replaced, right? You're going to have to do more things on top of it. There's very few things, even though De Beers thinks that a diamond lasts forever. I mean, even diamonds chip and they need to get fixed and stuff like that. So why does this matter to you as a business owner? You can go to these past customers and upsell them or sell them or cross-sell them, doesn't really matter, a new service or product. So because I believe in off-the-cuff thinking, Larissa, Justine, give me a niche and then give me just give me a niche, like a type of business, and then I'll build like a past client database reactivation campaign for them live.
Does that have to be? Can you give us some direction as far as should we
Could be anything,
B2B or B2C?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Can be B2B, B2C. I know we want to do two examples, so like maybe a B2B example and a B2C example.
Okay, I can give a B2B example and Justine can give a B2C example when we get to that step. So B2B example, let's just pick a consulting firm.
Great.
Let's say an IT consulting firm.
IT consulting firm. Great. So IT consulting firms, if you're not a pro at it, and I'm not going to even think that I'm a pro, I know enough to be dangerous. Let's say that the IT firm helps businesses with, general upkeep of their systems, right? Making sure the computers log on and that they are safe from cyber attacks, right? Let's say that they had clients, and they've been offering to set people up, right? So new businesses come to them, and they help them set up their IT infrastructure. Maybe they store a lot of data, and they recommend CRMs and stuff like that. And they did this consulting project. It was awesome, and then they stopped working together. Well, cybersecurity, especially, there's always going to be new attacks, right? We saw it with LastPass a couple weeks ago. We saw, big problems with Facebook, right, leaking a lot of data. So there are going to be leaks, right? So if I were to put a database reactivation thing together, I would phrase it in the context of a new year. I would phrase it into bringing up something that happened in December, something that's fresh in people's minds. So again, I'm not in the fields. I don't know what's going on, but maybe there's a like LastPass, right? LastPass was a big leak, right? And a lot of the passwords got leaked. So you could reference that, like, hey, December. So if I were to put an email campaign together to get someone to schedule a new consultation call with me, I was like, hey, name, didn't know if, Happy New Year. Didn't know if you saw this, but LastPass or whatever industry you're targeting, just had a huge leak with this amount of passwords being released, right? Most of uh, by our calculations, I don't know, 50% of businesses now have passwords that are being sold on the dark web. Do you have 15 minutes next Monday to go over uh, your like cybersecurity or something like that? But it's very specific. I'm not asking them to like if they need help with cybersecurity, blah, blah. I'm getting very specific, right? Hey, 15 minutes to diagnose if any of your passwords were leaked or if you have any bugs or openings in your back end, right? So a point of a database reactivation is these people already know you, right? In this context, they've already been clients. You probably did something specific for them that you can segment that list by, and then you can go in there with a specific offer, right? That one was a little bit of a doozy, but I'm going to throw another one out there for B2B, right? Let's say that you, I don't know, uh, do something completely not technology related, but let's say that you do, I don't know, tree trimmings, right? You can go back and say, okay, I trimmed this person's tree the same time last year, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe you're really good and you say that this was an oak tree or whatever. Uh, you could send a quick database reactivation saying, hey, John, happy 2023. Around this time last year, we cut your oak tree. We're running a special for the next, 3 people that respond. We're going to give you a $50 off or a $10 off or a 50% discount on getting your tree trimmed next week. Are you interested? Very contextual, right? And nice thing is, unless the tree's dead, which you can also sell them something, right? Like the tree's dead, you got to get that thing removed. So it's very specific. You reference something that you've done, and then you put an offer in there. The only thing I'll add to this before Justine tells me a B2C example is I actually was listening to this guy. I have him right on my screen right now, Mike and Andes. Andres, Andy, something like that. But I like the example he said about when you go to do something like a database reactivation, and he references like waiters, right? They always come to you and say, "Hey, do you want to check out the dessert menu?" And most of us are like, "No, I don't. I'm good. I'm full." But if they came to you with a specific offer, like, "Hey, do you want to check out our raspberry souffle with caramel drizzles and I don't know, something nuts. I don't know, like whatever." Magical Justine made nuts, right? That's it's easier for us to picture that, right? And then we can say, "Oh, I hate raspberries," so no, thank you. Or they can be like, "Oh, yeah, that sounds delicious. Let's check it out." So, Justine, be the C example. What do you got for me?
Well, I was recently gifted a very nice notebook, so let's go with a notebook or like a planner.
Awesome. So we are a website, we're an ecom brand, and we sell planners. Ooh, 2023. So this is awesome. In in like 6 months, we can run a database reactivation to say, hey, uh, we hope that you're crushing your 2023 goals, because we know that you're a forward-thinking individual that's always looking to be their best selves. We're offering all 2024 planners for 20% off. Plus, we're going to throw in, I don't know, a inspirational bookmark to help you crush your 2024, whatever, right? That's what I would do for that. But Justine loves notebooks, right? So I don't know if you guys know this, but you need pens and highlighters and things like that to actually use a notebook, right? So Justine bought this notebook or this planner. It's awesome. She's having so much fun. We can actually put together, right? Listen, Justine is a, 20-year-old, not 20-year-old, but you get what I'm saying, like in her 20s. So what I would do is I would look for, females and or like who they look up to. Okay, this is a horrible example, but I'm going to use it. Taylor Swift, right? Everyone loves Taylor Swift right now. Like it's awesome, right? If I were to do some database reactivation stuff with her, I would maybe do like I don't know, Taylor Swift, you know, I don't know. I would go in Canva, design like 50 inspirational quotes from Taylor Swift, right? With one of them saying Scooter Braun or something like that. And I would run a database reactivation text there saying, hey, listen, thank you so much for buying the notebook. Um, here like for the next 50 people that buy our $50 pen, right? It's super nice, it writes awesome, right? uh, Also get this exclusive Taylor Swift motivational like poster book for free, and we'll send it to you for free, and you'll be entered into a chance to win a ticket to her Miami show or whatever like that. That'd be pretty cool, right? Even though it's $50 for a like pencil, pen, whatever. Like you get something that you can honestly get on Canva for like $5-10, and then you buy one ticket that's like, I don't know, $1,500. You can easily make that back with all the pens that you sell. Because like we can calculate numbers, but that's a long-winded way. I'm not the best B2C marketer there, but that's something that I don't know. Poke holes in it, guys. What do you guys think? Would you buy a $50 pen?
No.
Not even for a Taylor Swift ticket to her Miami show?
I
And
already have Taylor Swift tickets, and I don't want to go to Miami.
okay, well, Justine, how did I do? You can be honest. Be honest. If it was horrible, I need to know.
I mean, honestly, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I'm sure
100%.
someone out there is. Like,
Okay.
I am sure some people would do that. I
yeah.
don't think I could ever get myself to spend that much money on a pen, though.
But it's not about the pen. It's about the Miami trip. But anyway, okay, fine. I lost. I'm gonna think about another one. Justine, I gotta redeem myself. Give me something.
Oof. I don't know, Larissa. Do you have any ideas?
For like a different B2C company,
Sure.
Yeah.
coffee shop.
Okay, awesome. Coffee shops are amazing, right? So the nice thing is when you actually check out with like your card anywhere, most of the time they actually have your information on file, but they most of the time have like a loyalty program. So I would go to everyone in my loyalty program that hasn't been in the shop, right? It's currently the 6th, right? um so like anyone who wasn't in the shop like the week of Christmas, I would target them and say, hey, new year, new me. Everyone who buys I don't know, buys a latte or drink or whatever gets a free, like, I don't know, like fruit or something like that, right? Because you can get fruit for pretty cheap, um like an apple or something like that, right? Because you're promoting like health or something, or even saying, hey, like 10%, 20% off your drinks, or if you have a rewards program, like double the amount of kickback that they get, right? So like Starbucks has like their star reward point. I would send a quick text, right, and tell them, hey, John, Happy New Year. Um, all coffee purchases will get double the stars, and I don't know, if you can say like how close they are to a free drink, I would reference that in there. But it's a quick way to like get them back into the store. Damn, I really got to step in my B2C game, guys, to be honest.
Starbucks is a really good version of that, where if you do go to Starbucks often, you may have the Starbucks app. They do that sort of automatically, and then they gamify it by pushing, individual. It is essentially database reactivation, but they have little contests and things you can do about if you spend $15 pre-tax between this date and this date, then you get 15 stars or whatever, and a certain number of stars equals a free drink. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a cheap way to do it, right? Because you might be thinking, man, I don't want to give away like 10 or 20% or anything like that. But what you gotta understand is like it's easier to sell people who have already bought from you or know you than is new customers. And I should have said that in the beginning, but like that's why you do it, right? Like it's way easier to go to a friend that you've been in friends with for like a couple months and tell them something than it is for someone new because there's not you don't have trust there. You don't have like experience with them. You don't know what's going to happen. So that's one thing that I would say is like, and it's just easier to sell people who right? With any of these examples, right? The notebook, the coffee shop, like they've already interacted with your brand. As long as they don't have a negative experience, why wouldn't they give you another shot? You know, I don't know, I've been yammering on. So like, what did I miss and not talk about today that you think people should know?
Um, I mean, in terms of, I don't know that there was necessarily anything missed, but just as like a quick, uh, sort of a synopsis of kind of the most important pieces. One, you should be keeping track of everybody you work with, when you work with them, and what you did for them. Those are the most important things. Make sure you're noting that down for every single person that ever comes across. Um, and not just people you work with, but anybody that may come into your pipeline. Just make sure you're keeping track of all those people. Keeping a CRM is a really great way to do that. Beyond that, then you can use those contacts and just reach back out to them when it is appropriate. The how you do that definitely varies on what kind of business you have and all the different intricacies of your own individual sales process, who you're reaching out to, all of those things, right? That's going to have a really big impact on how you try to what we call reactivate your current database. But, the most important piece is know who you're going to reach out to and create an awesome offer for them to incentivize them to work with you again, in whatever way that is. Maybe it's buying a product as a consumer. Maybe it's working with your company on a project basis or something like that. Those are all the things that are kind of going to come in, and it's just really important to make sure you're keeping track of those. And you just may have so many more leads that you had considered dead or cold that aren't really dead or cold. Circumstances change. You never know what's going on. It's always good to just check back in. And if you have a compelling offer, it's just going to make things more likely to go in your favor.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we gave an example for past clients, but this could be anyone that you've ever talked with, right? And we have 7 levels, like that we classify leads or potential leads as. So like definitely like the biggest thing is like find this list, categorize them, create a very specific offer. We can, we've had podcasts talking about offers. But if you have any questions, email us at nico@getbalancemedia.com or check out our socials. We're all over the place trying to serve you the best to our abilities. And thank you guys so much for being part of the 50th episode. And we'll talk real soon. Peace.